Welcome back to another episode of the Finance Bible podcast. Zeke here.
And your co-host Oscar. But before we get into it, please note that nothing in this podcast should ever be considered as personal financial advice.
Of course, if that is what you are seeking, reach out, we'll get you in touch with the correct professionals, get the job done properly.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Let's get into it.
And we're back, sitting alongside Zeke, and today we will be talking about something which is quite on trend at the moment. It is, as we speak, midway through July, and quite a few people probably in the process of putting in their information for a tax return. It's that time of the year. It's a good time when you're getting money back. If you are spending the money, it's a bit tough. But we just thought we'd jump on and make an episode of what you may want to spend your tax refund money on if you are the lucky ones to be getting a refund. Because you may get the money, you may be a bit overwhelmed with it. What should you do with it? Generally speaking, if you get given money, sometimes you think it's free money and you just spend it. So are there better ways to use it to align with your goals or whatever you need to do in terms of getting that next level up in your finances? So we'll just start from the top. What do you have to start us off with, mate?
Well. First of all, what a beautiful day.
It is. We are overlooking surfers paradise here. We've got a nice hotel room literally right on the waterfront, so I cannot complain.
Yeah, we're in that hotel room service. Actually, just watching a couple of
Yeah, I
kids
saw that.
chase each other on a balcony in Peppers, and they're just running at night.
That is not ideal.
It's pretty funny. The window cleaner's probably having a bit of a giggle over there. But yeah, no,
They just ran inside.
what ways do you want to spend your tax return, hey?
Mm.
Number one for me, in terms of helping people out, would be building up a bit of an emergency fund.
I do love an emergency fund.
We like to call it a bit of rainy day protection.
Yes, as Scotty Pape.
Basically, the average tax return refund in Australia is about $2,008.
Oh.
And with that, you can build a bit of an emergency fund there. So, you can just put it aside, keep it there, maybe in an interest account where it's earning a little bit of money for you. It's not going to be significant, but anything helps in this day and age. It can just sit there and build up and compound while, if anything happens, it goes wrong, then you've got a bit of money there to take advantage of, and it eases that stress off you a little bit.
Yeah, and we found in COVID as well, that emergency funds are so vital, especially if you're a family like a parent. You got to look after kids, etc. You got a mortgage, because if you lose your job, you don't really want to dive into your savings. If you have an emergency fund, you'd want to utilize that, because that is literally what it's for.
Yeah.
So job loss, like medical emergencies, if your car breaks down, dental, just anything which are unexpected expenses.
Yeah, even as a parent, like if your kid breaks their arm,
Yeah.
you take a couple days off work, you don't have sick leave,
And it's not something you really plan for, because it's an emergency fund. You don't think it's going to happen, but it's until it does happen and you don't have the balance, that's when you really kind of regret not saving a bit of money, even if it's $50 a week or $20 a week. Like, it can be nothing. As Zeke said there, finding a fund which can give you interest each month on that, and just a little bit of growth can help it push up. And especially if you do put a bit of your tax refund into it, it would be a good idea.
Yeah, and even if you're a renter and you need to pay a new bond or something, that'll go a long way. Your insurance premium might go up on your home or might go up on your car, which is happening a lot right now. Insurance is getting more and more expensive, so having that money there could help you with things like that. Next one, Don, throw one out.
Paying off debt, especially high interest debt. So I feel like this is my number one. Only if you have debt, actually. If you don't have debt, emergency fund would be number one for me. But we're in a country where a lot of consumer debt is exposed, generally speaking, younger individuals from, let's say 20 to 40 like to get a credit card and just keep slapping that on the FFOS machine. Making sure you keep your debt accountable, like figure out how much you have, don't let it go out of hand. But if you do get a refund, paying that off is a good idea. Like for myself, that's what I've actually done for my tax refund this year. in the process of closing one of my credit cards. So closing that out, paying it off, get it done. It's a good idea because sometimes you just get hit with interest, and then there's another $300 on it. So if you can get it down when you've got a bit of extra money coming through, and make sure you're planning accordingly, it's a good idea.
Yeah, paying down the high interest, even if it's car loans that are on a not favourable term, just any kind of loan, holidays. A lot of people have personal
Mm.
loans at the moment, which is not ideal. Um, and even student loans, like people out there with help or HEX or whatever you want to call it, then you could just pay a quick couple grand off that and help pay that down. You might not have much left. You can finish it off. Um, the next one for me would be doing something in which it will benefit you long term and or give you additional tax benefits. So if your cash flow is fine day to day, you could look at doing something like putting that refund into your superannuation as a concessional contribution. Basically, what that means is that comes off of your assessable income for that financial year, and then you can get a bit of a tax refund out of it for next year, and you can just keep doing the same thing.
And also build up your super at the same time.
Yeah, build up the super, get a lower tax rate environment, allow that compound growth to happen over a long time. Like if you're on the average wage, 80 grand a year, and your super's going up maybe $9,000 a year in terms of contributions. If you throw your tax refund in of about 2 grand, then that's another 20% in that one year. If you do it again next year, it's another 20%. And that 20% just compounds and compounds. And eventually your super will go up very drastically.
Yeah, once your super goes up as well, it allows you to have options to invest within your super. You've probably heard our episodes on investing in property within a self-managed super fund, but once you hit a certain threshold in your super balance, that becomes available to people who have done that, and then you can just leverage and purchase property in there. Like it's a win-win. Purchase a property, contribute, help you with your tax.
Yeah, lots of things you can do in there.
And obviously that varies if you do have debt, and if you don't have debt, or if you've got an emergency fund, or if you don't. There's different layers to it. Like if you've got other things to pay off first, wouldn't recommend just throwing it into your super and letting the debt go freely. But figure out what's more important to you in terms of the order of what you're wanting to look at.
Yeah, or just get actual professional advice. By no means are we saying here are the things you should do. We're
No,
saying here are some different things that you can do.
people, yeah,
Reasons to do them, reasons not to do them. Make
people
your
just
own
put it in their
informed decision.
spending and just spend it. Go
Yeah,
out on a nice dinner, which is also sometimes good. If you want to take someone on a date, you get a bit of a tax refund. Happy days, you're set.
well,
Free
man,
dinner.
you could even be doing what a certain man might do and put it in a specific account. You could be saving up for an engagement ring or something.
Yes, you could actually. That's whoever would be doing that. That's what you could do.
You could put it in there. You could save it for any big purchases, really.
Yeah,
Um,
you never know.
yeah, you definitely could. You could throw it in the engagement ring account.
And that goes back to investing.
It does.
Investing for another day. You can invest this extra cash to achieve your financial goals, financial growth, your investment journey. Get it underway if you haven't, or just continue investing in shares or property, whatever it may be. Because we've done or if you haven't done it, compound money growth calculator on Money Smart. Great tool, that one. Probably my favorite calculator on the web. Have a little play around on that one and figure out over 30 years or however long you have until your retirement age or when you want to retire, what a little bit, let's say $50 a week or whatever refund you get, can contribute to your overall money goals. Because I was playing around last week. I play around every week actually on it. And even like $50 a week invested can literally give you like a $300,000, $400,000 difference if you start now compared to starting in 10 years' time.
Yeah, it goes a long way. So if you're doing 2 grand a year from your tax refund, then
Yeah, and just average it out the whole year, like dollar cost average. So it's not all one large lump sum investment. It's so I love it.
yeah.
Even when I was in Africa and I was speaking to one of Zoe's cousins about it, and I just whipped up the calculator at dinner.
For those of whom don't know, Zoe is Oscar's partner in life.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, keep going with your story.
I just whipped it up and popped in some numbers, and I was like, geez, this calculator is actually unbelievable.
It's a fun
It
calculator.
is so good. And you just play around with it. So many different variants. Like you can pop in if you've got this super amount compared, like you can you can compare two different options in like ages, like that's starting out 26, or what if I wait 5 years at 31?
Yeah, and you can
What's the
do different
difference?
amounts, different growth rates, different
Yeah.
fees and
What's the
stuff.
difference in 30 years?
Yeah, it's a really good
And
tool.
I tell you what, even like waiting 2 years, it's a big difference.
Oh, huge.
It is insane what compounding can do.
Yeah, even with small amounts, like
Yeah.
2 grand a year is by no means a huge amount of money, but it compounds so much over the long term. And you can literally throw that into anything you want as long as it's getting you a return. The next one along is tackling maintenance costs.
Oh,
It's an interesting one. Um, we all have them, those annoying little things that just come up, and you're like, oh yeah, I've got to pay that at some point. Oh yeah, I've got to do that at some point. And they're just little things that you're like, oh, it's not urgent, like it's not pressing enough for me to do it. But you're like, oh, I don't have to do it now, so I'll put it off. And we all have them, whether it be what's an example? I've gone brain dead. Even
car
just
insurance.
yeah, car insurance. You might be paying it monthly. You could try to get an annual payment for it. It could be rego. You might be doing it like every 3 months or 6 months when you could be doing it annually. Um, yeah, it could even be going to do something health wise, like you've been thinking about getting new glasses or something. You can't afford it day by
Mm.
day, and you're like, oh, I need to do it, but I don't really have the money for it. Things in the home, like you might be needing a new microwave or a new oven or something, but it's not urgent, so you just keep on going. It could be a pair of shoes or something that you've worn down, and they're at the point where you're like, God, I need some new shoes. The sole's gone, but again, it's not urgent. You've been postponing it. So anything like that you could do. I did have other examples earlier, but I've completely gone
But
blank.
you can come back to it, man,
Yeah, health
if need be.
insurance, anything like that that's not urgent, but you do it. There's always the things that are in the back of your mind, or you see it and go, "Oh yeah, I need to do that," but you just can't bother.
Yeah, there's always something. Another one, which I think is, well, it's targeted at homeowners, and if you've got a pretty hefty mortgage, is utilizing your refund to offset your interest, put it in your offset account. So, depending what you have in terms of your tax refund, I believe anything will help you with it. Obviously, if you've got a higher amount, it will help you more substantially if you've got a lower amount of a refund, but helping you minimize the interest you are paying on your mortgage. Maybe a good idea if you are struggling day to day at the moment, especially for those individuals who are coming off like a fixed interest rate to a variable rate, especially if they locked it in a couple of years ago, it may be stinging them. So anything will be able to help them. So if you get a nice tax refund, could be a good idea to pop it straight there, and then you're paying a bit less per week for your repayments, and it can help you put that money elsewhere, like go out for a nice date night once a week,
Oh yeah,
or just put it in share. Like options are endless. But offsetting the mortgage is a potential idea for those people who are struggling at the moment with the high amounts.
absolutely. You could create a will, which is another thing. I mean, that's kind of part of the maintenance I was talking about, but big enough to be a separate point on its own. So a lot of people out there don't have wills, or they haven't updated it in a decade or 10 years. They might have 3 or 4 children now. They had none at the beginning when they did it with their partner originally. Even if you're single, having a will's not a terrible idea, because if you've got debts or you've got a bit of money or whatever, who do you want to kind of be responsible for that and
That's
handling
like
it?
an emergency fund, something not many people think about
Yeah,
until it's too late.
that's exactly
Like
right.
some people are literally when they're on their deathbed, they like I've seen photos, or I know actually people whose family members have had this. Like when they're in their deathbed in the hospital, they actually get their will written up because they don't
Mm.
have one.
Yeah, well, they amend it right there and
Yeah,
there.
and it's like, well, they're not obviously thinking 100% because they're pretty crook,
Yeah,
and it's probably not the thing you'd be wanting to do if
it's
you're
sort
literally
of
on
like
your deathbed.
whoever was the last person there to check on them is fresh in their mind as
Yeah.
well.
So it's something you don't think about, especially if you're on the younger side of age, but it can creep up on you. It's just good to plan, especially if you've got a partner or a family. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it just turns into absolute chaos. You got legal battles left, right, and center.
Oh.
Delays it so much and makes the whole grieving
And if you've got
process
kids,
harder.
and if you've got kids who, let's say siblings, say a few sisters or 4 or 5, haven't you got in your family? 4, 5. How
I've
many
got four
kids?
siblings,
Yeah, so
so there's
5 of you.
five. Yeah.
So if there's like a family of 5 kids, and then let's say the parents died and they didn't have their will. Well, if the kids don't get along, it's going to be an absolute shit show.
Yeah, that's right. If mum and dad carved it tomorrow without a will, it would be
Oh, it'd be
chaos.
horrible because
Like you
everyone would
got,
be fighting for it. Like if everyone was fighting for it, if everyone had their strong personalities, it'd be literally chaos and it'd ruin relationships.
yeah, I think we'd be pretty chill. But
I'm
if,
not using you as an example, mate. Don't
oh no,
don't
no,
you
no,
stress about that.
no, I do hope that I'm in charge of it though, because obviously I'm the best option. Mum and dad, if you happen to tune in, go update it,
I wonder.
put Zeke number one, and I'll distribute it and have your best interest at heart.
Oh, what a man.
As always, that's how I operate. Yeah, no, if you've got, and especially in families where there's like two children,
Hmm.
like having them 50-50, huge problem. I've mentioned this before. I've seen people delay that like 10 years because they just want to fight about it non-stop. Put a third person as like someone to help distribute things and
Yeah, I think
sort it out.
for mum's will because it's two of us. She's got I think it's her um like mortgage broker, her accountant, who's going to be in charge of distributing it
Hmm.
instead of one of us,
Yeah,
which is so much better.
yeah.
Especially if like you're grieving, like you don't really want to think about it or be in charge of that at the
It
time.
just adds a bunch of drama
Oh, it
to it.
does.
We hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, you know exactly what to do.
Hit that follow button, subscribe, whatever platform you listen to this podcast on. Also share it to friends, families, co-workers, whoever you think may benefit from it. But unfortunately, it's the end and we'll see you next week.